Former U.S. Representative Tulsi Gabbard said that politicians are rushing to pass this bill because they don't want us to know how much it will cost us, our economy, families, and national security, or danger of nuclear war, and that it was completely irresponsible. Let's take a look.
It tells you that they don't really want the American people to know what is in this bill and what will come next and what it will truly cost us, not just a few of us, but all of us as the American people today and what appears to be, if we continue down this path, for the long term to come. That should be a huge red flag for the American people as they look at leaders in Washington resorting to name calling and smearing rather than actually providing these clear explanations to the American people.
Nicole, is that right? Is that, the bare minimum that they should be able to somewhat itemize where this money is going?
I mean, certainly the bill is explicit in what it is doing. This is available. And I find it a really interesting attack on Democrats to say that they're not providing any oversight. I think Democrats would welcome not being the party of red tape for once. I mean, Democrats always want oversight on everything. That's what the party's almost built on at this point. No one's trying to keep it a secret as to what's happening here. The Biden administration is being completely forthright with what this money is to do. And I, quite frankly, don't know what former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard's talking about.
So what is the relationship then? I mean, if it's all accounted for and proportional, how do we justify spending as much or sending as much money as Russia spends in its entire military budget when there's the goal here is ostensibly, defending against a Russian invasion? Emily?
Yeah, I think it's a question of a lot of things in Washington have oversight. Sort of technically they have oversight. And that's where you get the spending in Afghanistan that a lot of it we didn't know about until IG reports came out, detailed IG reports. And so I think Senator Paul is saying we don't want to have to wait for the IG reports. And a lot of stuff in Washington happens out in the open. It just goes completely under the radar because the media is disinterested in it or has different priorities. And I think especially after those IG reports out of Afghanistan and a lot of the retrospectives of Afghanistan, it's a pretty clear lesson that a lot of these bills, even if they are out in the open and we can sort of see where the spending is going, if there aren't additional mechanisms, we end up years later having this bipartisan moment where we look back and we all sort of nod our heads and say, yeah, that we should have done something better. So I do think there's a serious argument to be made there. And I still think it's been tough without the articulation of the money is directly going to this purpose. And this is where I understand that's difficult, but this is where we draw the line. I just don't think anybody, the administration has struggled to answer what the end point or what the end goal is. Is it regime change? What is it? And unless you have a pretty clear understanding of what that is, of course the American people are going to be very anxious about printing tons of money and having it rubber stamped by just about everybody in Congress and sending it off to Ukraine.